Hi, I'm Ramakrishna Reddy, and in today's video, I want to share how do you ask the correct question and the concept behind it. So let's get started. Jeff Bezos once said that people often ask me what's going to change in the next 10 years. And he says that it's very hard to answer that question, and probably people are not asking him a slight variant of the question, which is far more important. And you know what's that variant of that question? The variant of that question is what's not going to change in the next 10 years? Do you see how interesting that is? I understand why people are so curious about future and change because they want to know what's going to happen. But the reality is change is going to be constant and nobody knows what's going to happen, right? If people know what's going to happen in the next 10 years, every book will be a bestseller, every movie will be a super hit, box office hit, but that hardly happens. How many movies come out and how many becomes a blockbuster? Nobody knows the reality. Otherwise, there would be no uncertainty. Everything will go by the book, right? So the reality is, if people are saying that they know what's going to happen in 10 years, they're probably winging it, right? So that's why Bezos applied a wonderful concept which I'll share soon. And then he told that the right question to ask is what's not going to change in the next 10 years. And he thought about it. Okay, people will want to buy a product for lesser cost. Sure, that's not going to change. People want to always pay less money for a product. And people want things faster. Sure, faster shipping and reducing the prices and keeping it optimal are something people would always want, and Amazon focuses on that and they become one of the most successful companies in planet Earth. Genius. Sure, these are not the only strategies because of which Amazon became successful, but these is a core behind that, right? So similarly, again, I'm not an e-commerce expert, but what I try to do is see how we can implement that in our life. So the question you can ask is, what's not going to change in my organization for the next 10 years? Will my organization exist for the next 10 years? Or will the company in which I invest be in business for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, right? If you ask such questions, then you will get better answers, right? And that's the idea here. Instead of asking what's going to change, what you don't know, ask questions about what you know, right? What you can control, and then take steps towards it. Now, this is the actual question, but the concept behind it is more important because when you know the secret sauce, you can apply it for any situation to solve any problem, right? The concept which Jeff used, he didn't tell that, but I know that because I read it from a wonderful book called Poor Charlie's Almanac by Charlie Munger. If you don't know who Charlie Munger is, he's the right hand of Warren Buffett and the vice president of Berkshire Hathaway. He passed away recently. Rest his RIP, rest his soul in peace, because he was an wonderful human being, and I read that book. I was amazed at the insights and wisdom he had. All right, so if you can check out that book, Poor Charlie's Almanac, I highly recommend it. So he talks about various mental models and how you can apply them to solve problems, and one of the mental model he shares is inversion, and he learned it from another German mathematician, Jacobi. And Jacobi says that you need to always always invert. What do we mean by this? It's not a mathematical formula, though he applied for it. You often can solve hard problems by going backward than forward, right? So, for example, you say, how do I show more love to my spouse? Did you just ask that? Are you saying like that? Okay, never mind. I know it's a tough question, but let's just be with me for a second, all right? Now, you may run out of ideas, which I'm sure mostly, but let's say you have an idea, just go implement it. Stop this video, go implement it. But if you don't have ideas, like most of us, then invert it. How do I not hurt my spouse? Now we are talking, right? So you may be doing things that would be hurting your spouse, and how do you not do that? It's still a solution, right? So just a very heuristic, rough example that I could think of, but applies this in other areas. Let's say public speaking. I want to add humor and entertain the audience. Now invert it. How do I not blow the speech? How do I not bore the audience? How do I not put the audience to sleep? Now this is the inversion. It's again not negative. It's double negative, which again has the same meaning. But you get more ideas to solve the problem. That's all we are saying. So long story short, the concept of inversion, the model of inversion is to invert the problem statement and see if you get ideas to move forward. All right. So I hope that was helpful and clearer. I try to simplify these concepts and see if you can apply it for your life and your situation. And I had fun teaching this, and I hope you learned something and it inspires you to do something in your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a wonderful day and see you in the next video. Bye bye.